Hello, welcome back. All right, let's get into it. So, still on with two, still on planning and execution. We're going to be looking more into time and money right now. A goal without a timeline, like they say, is just a wish. So, let's get into it. Let me know what you think about my design here. It's still done by AI, so okay. So making time visible, Gantt charts. These are some of the things we're still going to do, right? In person. It's not in person, it's instructor-led class. So yeah, we're gonna have some of this practical. So making time visible, Gantt charts, right? The goal of Gantt charts is to break down work, right? Into timelines. The goal is for you to see things at a glance. I'm gonna show you an example of a Gantt chart shortly. So you can see my screen. So a Gantt chart pretty much is an eye level of what a screen should look like. So what is an eye level of a timeline, a project timeline. So you see this on my screen here. Um, okay, that's not displaying really well. Okay, I think I'm just gonna open it. All right. I think it's a good opportunity to let you guys know that it's really important that you master the art of research. You hear about something, especially in this day and age where information flies very fast, things are improving quickly. You really have no choice but to be on your own toes, right? Be on your own toes to improve yourself regularly. So look at a sample. Yeah, it's usually done with spreadsheets, but this was designed, of course, Canva. So you see website development process Gantt charts, process quarter one, quarter two, quarter three. There is planning, there is wireframing, design process, front end development. So you see that front end development starts in July and it ends in October. So this is pretty much, like I said, it's an overview of what your time is, right? Or of what your project schedule is. Your project can span 3 months, can span a month. So you can do day one, day two, day three, day 45, right? You can spread it out like that. It can also be in months. You can even have multiple. You can have one for so for planning that runs February. So in January to February, what are we doing? So you can have a Gantt chart specific for for planning. Do you get it? So I hope you guys have gotten that. So let me look at this. Another sample here. Okay, this is just very similar to that. To see, it's just pretty much the same. So let's get back to our slides. Pardon my video. It's not so great. I tried to do a better one, but week three should be better. Okay, week three videos should be better. Yeah. So moving on to okay. Yeah. Okay, good. So sequence matters, right? I think this is really important. Um, it's an important part. It seems simple, but it's important to know it, all right? And call it out for your team members that there are things that cannot start until a particular thing finishes, right? It's really important for you to know that, that the sequence matters. If you don't realize and plan for the dependencies, you know, you can fall into mistakes where you're wasting resources, right? Yeah, where you waste resources, you you waste resources in terms of money, human resource, different things, right? Different things. You can affect the quality of your project. Let me give an example. When you're building a house, for example, you need to realize that, because you know that we cannot roof the house until the foundation is done. So imagine if the paint materials were, let me look for a better example. Yeah, imagine if the paints, right? The painters, they arrived when the foundation, you engage them that, oh, I want everybody to be ready. As a project manager, I want everybody to be on ground, start to finish, right? The painter has no need, right, to be there when foundation is being done. But you said, okay, you know what, get everything you need, I'll give you at this time. So you give them the paints. You communicated to them as though they were ready to start. So they mixed the paints, right? They mixed it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with how painting is done. So yeah, pretty much painting is done in a way where there are some painting materials where it's mixed with another liquid, and some doesn't need to be mixed, you know. And according to, if I remember correctly, when paint is mixed, I think it needs to be used not very long from the time where it's mixed, or else it gets hard, right? It hardens up. So foundation has just been done, completed, but the paint has been mixed. Then you start to lay the blocks for the walls of the house. You start to break, make the walls, make the sitting room, the restroom, the kitchen, the bedrooms, the walkways. You start to make all those things. You layer it up to the top. Then you add the roof, you add the window. Meanwhile, the painting has been mixed already. Do you see? It may not be a perfect example, but I hope you guys get what I'm saying. So I'm saying that say that the sequence matters. Okay. You need to know that there are dependencies. So for me to achieve that, this needs to be completed. So you take note of this and ensure that um the timeline for this to be communicated is communicated to, sorry, the timeline for this to be completed is communicated to the owner of that process. So that process could mean, um for a wedding planner, or let me use an example. I'm using examples that you can easily relate to it, okay? But let me use a mobile development project. Before a website is usable by you, a designer has most likely sketched the flow of the design, how the design should work, what the gaps are, where we need to get to, and all of those things. The designer has most likely sketched it out, then go on to design it. So the entire application has been designed before a developer then picks it up, puts it, and pushes it to your phone or your laptop. Do you see? So before you engage the developer, of course, you engage the developer. I'm working on this project, right? I'm working on this project, but the design is going to be done by this time. I want you to review it a week before it's completely done, so you can have an idea. And immediately he or she finishes designing, then you can pick it up to build your code. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's very, very important for you to it's very, very important that you um it's very important that you understand this dependencies, right? Dependencies, okay? Really good. I hope I've been able to explain that. So a similar thing, just let me say another example that before before a wedding hall is decorated, it should be cleaned, right? You know. Okay, so something like that. So critical path is the longest sequence of tasks in your project's plan. So pretty much this is something like it's just saying that. So critical path is how you can measure the completion of your project. Is how you can measure how your project is completed. I'll prefer to demonstrate this practically. So I will share with you during our live session. Okay, but let's just looking at what's on the screen. If any task on the red line, critical part is delayed by even 1 day, your entire project launch dates will be delayed by 1 day. So you need to focus your risk management here. It's really important. Okay. So it's the longest sequence of tasks. Let me say in terms of, okay, let me say planning a training program. What is your longest sequence of tasks? That most likely will be managing the program, because you need to share materials with learners, assign instructors, um, create class links, So that is, and you need to follow it very carefully. So you get, because a mistake on that part, a mistake on that critical part would affect a lot of other things. Okay. So it's very important that you take note of that. How long will it take? So this is where you estimate, right? Your clients most likely will ask you, or the people you're working with will a lot of times ask you, how long will it take? So first is expert judgments, consult the experienced team members, ask your team members, how long will it take you to do this? How long will it take you to do that? Then you calculate everything together. So analogous estimation is comparing with a similar project that you've done in the past. Okay, so 3 point estimation is mostly used in product management, where we assign story points to things to get to see. Excuse me. So where we assign story points and things to say that this kind of task will take about 30 story points, depending on so it's sort of like a weighted sum average. So this particular task will take three 30 story points, 4 story points, 5 story points. So the more the complexity of the task, the more story points are assigned to it. Okay. Okay, excuse me. I'm back. All right. Back to this. So I have a quick task for you here. Going back, it will be, so the morning routine Gantt chart. So I want you to do this, right? You want to take a screenshot of this and actually work on it. I believe it's not very difficult. It's not even difficult at all. So just go on Google, search for free Gantt chart templates, then actually work on a Gantt chart. So work on a Gantt chart for maybe your entire day or your morning routine, 6 to 8. What you do from 6 to 8. So it can be 6 to 10, break the column, another column, 6:10 to 7 o'clock. What are you doing? So just do it like that. Okay. Yeah. So this is budgets. This is we're gonna look at budgets here. Okay, so yeah, budgets, and in project management, I want to assure you that your budget is not just what you are buying. All right. People usually, sometimes people take the most of your budget, right? Payments for people, right? Of your budget. So when you think about it, right, it's more than money changing hands. It's the entire budget, right? So that's why we did all the things that we did before we go to budgets. You see, because sometimes the mistake that project managers often make is that you do budget first because it's money. Okay, this thing you want to do, this is how much I'm charging for it. You've not really actually broken it down, but you've accepted the project. When you now accept the project, you get to a part in the project, then you now say, oh, sorry, you discover that things are now more expensive in the market. It's not professional to do that. I hope you guys are aware. I know that Nigerians can say that, especially because of inflation, we will say that, oh, you know how the market things are changing. Yes, we know. But would it be better? Can that experience be better for the user if they can plan their finance? To get, if they can say, okay, if they can trust you to be more efficient, in your planning and in your budgeting. Okay, so you plan and break down everything. Your budget includes time, amount time. If you're giving out internet, cost of power, cost of airtime, cost of meetings, cost of logistics, vendors, software, hardware, all of those things. Okay, so how you guess the price pretty much is estimating your budget. Do you get? So you really need to, yeah, do that top down estimation. Sometimes it's bottom down estimation, and pretty much they're different. So it's a case of top down estimation is I give you 10 million and I say that take it. This is how much I have for this project. Please make it work. Do you get it? Bottom bottom up estimation is um every single task that you have planned using your work break structure, Gantt chart, you then calculate it, then arrive at a figure. Do you understand it? So do you see the difference? So top down is I give you a particular budget, which sometimes is what happens, in clients like this. This is how much I can spend on this. Please help me work with it. For bottom up estimation, you calculate everything, right? For bottom up estimation, pretty much, you just do all the calculations, then you give a budget. So you get that's the difference. But you can come to the middle here, which is hybrid, and say, okay, oh, you've given us 10 million, but 10 million will only be able to achieve this. Are you fine that we achieve this scope? Remember, projects have the three constraints: cost, scope, time. For the cost you have as the owner to me, the project manager, this is the scope that we can accommodate, and this is the time we'll be able to deliver it. Do you see? Sometimes if you do bottom up estimation, in my experience, I may need to charge 30 million naira for 1 month, right? But if you if you then come and say, no, for that project, it is 15 million naira I have. So what I'm now saying is, okay, no problem. 15 million naira can work. However, we'll retain the scope the way it is, but we'll need to deliver it in 2 or 3 months. Do you see? So that means I'm going to lower the workload of my staff, or I'm not going to get as many people on it. So if I was planning to get 20 people on the project so we can achieve it quickly, I'll now be able to get 10 people that will work for 3 months. So you get with the same amount. Do you understand? Okay. So that's important. So it's also important to plan for contingency, right? The oops fund. So this is miscellaneous, right? Some people don't agree with miscellaneous these days, right? Especially accountants, but yeah, it's good to always have 10 to 20%. This helps to cover things like inflation, right? Cost overruns, unexpected issues, something that happens during the period that you didn't plan for. So you need to really build a buffer every time. Sometimes you need to build it for the client to know. Sometimes you build it and they don't know. Okay? It's really important that you do this. So this is another task that I'm giving you, the dinner party budget, right? So put your budgeting skills to test with a real fun world scenario. So plan a dinner for 4 friends. I would like to see 1 or 2 persons present this, okay? So plan a dinner for 4 friends, add a 15% contingency, and let us see your total budget. Please do this using Excel, not on your notes, okay? Thank you very much. I hope you have learned quite a number of things here as well. Thank you. See you in the next video. Bye.